welcome to Advanced Aviation Reno. So I'm going to start doing the occasional hangar tour. So just to kind of have a walk through the hangar and see what where we have coming through. So I would love to say that this is mine, but unfortunately it is not. We're not actually working on this one. This is just here for parking. It's a Citation 10 Plus, and it's very nice indeed. Nearly brand new. This is one we've had in for about a week. Cessna 310, just with the standard heater issues in the nose. We actually work on a variety of 310s, from our very own flight school 310 to coastal defense and privately owned 310s. This is work in progress. This is a Blanca Sundowner with a 180 horsepower engine that has just been fully overhauled. So should be better when that goes on. Another Blanca. I don't actually know what model number this is. So this came in for an annual after being sat outside for a good 3 years. Needless to say, it was not a straightforward annual inspection. It would be a good project for somebody. Over there we have an Aztec. The Aztecs come in rather regularly, as you can imagine. Everything from oil leaks, avionics issues, just these things are just workhorses. As you can see there, we have a Civil Air Patrol Cessna 182. We have a contract with the Civil Air Patrol for their maintenance and avionics upgrades, so we get these in pretty regularly. This one is actually rather nice. It's pretty new, and I believe this is actually its first annual. But so it's got the Garmin G1000 flight deck in it. Very nice indeed. One of the BFDs is out for service right now. Piper PA28 140. This one has been upgraded to the 160 horsepower engine about 200 hours ago, maybe a little bit less. So this aircraft is getting, well, as well as the full new interior. These C-frames were sent out for powder coating. Well, they got sandblasted first and then they got powder coating, just waiting for the upholstery. So that should give you a little idea as to what's going in. Currently the panel is, well, as you can see, it's not really there. Everything has been pretty much gutted. The only avionics that are remaining is the intercom, audio panel, and one King 155 navcom. The rest is going to be, it's going to have the Dynon engine monitoring system, the Dynon HDX certified going in there. I'm pre-wiring for autopilot for in the future. I don't quite know when the PA28 line of autopilots is going to come out for Dynon, but given that there's so many out there, it's definitely in their best interest to speed up that process. What else is going in this one? Oh yeah, how can I forget? It's getting an Avidyne IFD 540 GPS navigator. So yeah, this is definitely one to keep the eyes on. I've got some of it already assembled through the avionics workshop that we'll take a look at in just a second. Over here, this is a rather striking paint scheme on a Glass Air 3. So we've known this aircraft for the last few years now, and we've pretty much gone through it with a fine-tooth comb. And now the avionics are again upgraded. Still doesn't have an interior in it, but again, the panel and the insides are a little bit gutted. So in the left, we're going to be getting a Dynon HDX. We're going to also have the knob panel and the autopilot panel there as well. This is going to keep its Apollo WAS GPS navigator in there, as well as an SL30 and an SL40. and we're also retaining the original engine monitoring system as well. But with the trim setup and the autopilot setup, that is going to Dynon. Actually, with the Dynon system, I'm able to keep the original trim servos in this aircraft and integrate them through the Dynon autopilot setup. So it should auto trim, which is going to be pretty nice. And then if you're flying along and you need to disconnect the autopilot, you push the disco button, and the aircraft is going to be all nicely trimmed up for you, so you don't have any big surprises. So yeah, I just got this one in yesterday, so there's been quite a lot of progress with that already. 182 in for annual. Over here quickly, this is Mooney M20M. I think it's a 2004. I can't remember the exact total number of hours on it, but over the last 10 years, it maybe averages 10 to 20 flight hours a year. So it's a pretty clean example of the Mooney. I haven't flown this one yet. Hopefully I'll be going on a flight in this pretty soon. I'll try and get some footage of that, because that should be pretty nice. Again, this has the Garmin G1000 flight deck in it. The non-WAS version. You do not want to know how expensive it is to upgrade those things to a WAS unit. VTail Bonanza. We get quite a few Bonanzas coming through the shop. So this one is in for an annual. A few other little bits of work, including the front strut. That needs a little bit of attention. This has also had a new transponder installed pretty recently. This one is just about to go back together. And so a pretty standard looking panel in there. But otherwise, for a VTail Bonanza, it's pretty clean. Over here is something you might not recognize straight away. This is a Ryan Navion. I can't remember what engines these came in as standard, but this one has been upgraded to a 540. So it's definitely got a lot more power than it originally had, because it is quite a substantial aircraft. And again, this one is getting a whole new panel. So as you can see, this one has been gutted quite substantially. The hydraulic unit has been overhauled, so that was quite nice and easy to get back in. I'll show you the new instrument panel for this in just a second. So this has basically had all its old avionics wiring ripped out. The only things that are remaining in this is the lighting circuits, the landing gear circuits, and hydraulics. Everything else is getting ripped out. So it's got an auxiliary fuel tank in the back. It did have an old Britain autopilot in there, of which has been inop for many years. So yeah, this is going to be another one that's going to be a giant transformation, and I'm quite looking forward to the test flight in this. It should be pretty interesting. To my mind, it is akin to what a 4-seater P-51 would be, with slightly less horsepower. You'll have to excuse the mess in this room. It's being repurposed from a storage room into the avionics workshop. So I have my future computer desk over here. I have a mobile, movable avionics wiring bench here for when I'm wiring stuff out here. As you can see here, this is the instrument panel for the Navion. We custom CAD designed this panel. I had it CNC machined out of 110 thou aluminum, and we've just had it powder coated as well, and it's looking pretty awesome. So some of the shapes in here might give you a little idea as to what's going in. There's an iPad going in there, for example, and there may or may not be an Avidyne going in there, but Aspen E5 going in there. These are the avionics currently removed from the glass there. So the MX-20 has definitely had its day. It did have an S-Tech autopilot in there, but that's getting ripped out in favor of the dyno. These are a couple of Dynon units and Avidyne unit going on here. So the one on the right is the experimental version going in the glass air, so that is not going to have the engine monitoring unit on it. The one on the left here, along with the Dynon D10 there, this is the certified unit, so this is going to have full IFR maps, charts, and the engine monitoring system. We've got the little knob panel there as well, and this is the Avidyne for the Piper Cherokee. So this is the 540 model. It still thinks it's in Florida at the moment because we haven't connected it up to GPS yet. And there's some future stuff going on there. Now let's get out of here because there's a significant mess. So, also outside I have a Piper Arrow waiting. That is going to have some Trig products put in it. So that's going to have the Trig Bluetooth, the 45 audio panel, the 6-place Bluetooth audio panel, and it's going to have 2 Trig VHF comm radios put in it. We would have liked to have put one of the Navcom units in it, but unfortunately they're not available yet. And last but not least, just a very quick look around this glorious machine here, Cessna 140. Again, I think this model was a 120 originally, and then it was retrofitted with flaps and an engine upgrade. But yeah, so this engine is actually still being broken in from when it was rebuilt. Again, this was in for annual and just a little bit of TLC because it had been sitting outside for a few years. But the interior of this aircraft is really rather lovely. I have to say I'm a bit of a vintage airplane nut. I do like my nice shiny avionics panels, but you just can't beat a nice vintage tail dragger. So, I hope you enjoyed the very first Advanced Aviation Reno hangar tour. Hopefully we'll kind of try and get these done on a semi-frequent basis, just so you can see the different things coming in and out of the hangar. So we'll catch you next time.